Welcome back, you lovely people. And in today's video, I want to talk about volatility and what that means for the future of Bitcoin. By the way, a lot of people asking me for an Ethereum video. I have one ready to go. It's just there's so much Bitcoin news on a daily basis. If I don't cover it, then I'm going to fall behind. But hopefully tomorrow we'll talk about Ethereum. I have some really good analysis to show. But we're going to focus on Bitcoin once again. And we are down 1.5% at just under $37,000. So not much change really, but the charts are very interesting. This is our main chart we've been looking at. We're looking at the 4 key areas that we need to cover to I was going to say to be free. And yeah, pretty much to be free and be heading back up to the all-time high. So number 1 we did yesterday. This was the breakout of our downward sloping trend line. Number 2, we are battling with at the moment. So it's certainly very interesting. It looked like we cleared it before. And then look at this candle, which was over 8 hours, we were up and down 6%. This is volatility. And I believe it's going to get worse. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but we're battling with this level to see whether we're going to claim it or whether we're going to fall back down below. So our second step is in the balance. If we do claim it, that would be awesome. Then we're looking at 40 to 42 and then 50 to 52. So we're also battling with it on this chart, and lots of people are watching this bull flag as well. And you can see we came and touched into the top of it. That was about 38,400, and now we are, if we do get rejected and we are coming back down to the bottom of the bull flag, then we're looking towards 31 to 30,000, which again would align with this very, very key support level. So our important levels are becoming very clear, but the short-term direction is certainly very unclear, and we will continue to monitor it every step of the way. And, you know, why is it unclear? Surely Bitcoin should just be going up in a straight line, given that all of Latin America and South America are talking about adopting it. Well, there are some very, very large forces in play, as I'm sure you have seen, or at least you have felt. What does that mean? Well, you know, this isn't directly related, but it just cropped up before I did this video. I thought it was interesting. Macron demands G7 commitment on regulating online speech. What I take from this is what I've been saying for a while. Our democratic leaders that supposedly are there to keep us free do not want us to have any level of freedom. Now, we can apply that train of thought to what's happening with Bitcoin. El Salvador, we know the amazing steps that they've taken, passing into law the Bitcoin law to make it legal tender. Today, the International Monetary Fund, if you want to look into it, one of the most corrupt organizations in human history, putting out threatening statements today. Bitcoin's legal tender move raises macroeconomic, financial, and legal issues. And yeah, absolutely. If by issue you mean that you will no longer be able to take advantage of developed countries who are on a Bitcoin standard, then yes, absolutely, it's going to cause the IMF issues. Reply from Preston. The fact that the IMF is making threatening statements to a country with a GDP of only 24 billion annually tells you more about their fear of Bitcoin than anything else. Good luck stopping it. The mind virus keeps spreading. You cannot stop an idea. And from a technical perspective, you cannot stop a decentralized network. BJ, IMF to El Salvador, and IMF to everybody in the world. Your job is to have fun staying poor or else. Right. So we're going to see this. They're not going to go down quietly, as I'm sure none of us thought that they would. And overnight, you had Senator Elizabeth Warren in the US putting out videos. First one talking about how incredible and so amazing for the people that central bank digital currencies are going to be. Okay. Second one, talking about how destructive Bitcoin is and how it's going to use all of the energy in the world and is toxic and evil. Okay, this is one of the most important politicians in the United States. This is one of the most important organizations in the world. They are absolutely terrified. And we had inflation data today from the US, prices up 5% year over year. That's one of the biggest rises in history for a monthly rise. And this tweet from Pomp is absolutely on the ball. I said all last year that stimulus checks, if you're in the UK, swapping furlough, grants, etc., would end up hurting people more than helping people. Now prices of goods have increased at a historic pace, but the people don't have $1,200 checks on the way. The government enriched the asset owners and punished the poor. This is what we have been saying was going to happen for over a year since the beginning of this situation. And it is coming to fruition. Inflation is heading off the charts. All of the inflation charts look very, very concerning. It is now trickling or flooding into consumer prices. So any free money that the people received is being eaten up, and more so by inflation. Of course, that free money in many areas of the world is going to be stopping now, but those prices are not going to come down. No price ever comes back down. Once inflation hits, it's there to stay. And the response to this, of course, is going to be universal basic income. More headlines today showing that it's going to be trialled in the UK. And you know, the results of universal basic income, I'm showing you right here on the screen. It creates inflation. The price of goods and services goes up, and then the people get poorer, and the currency gets destroyed. This is exactly what happened in Weimar Republic. You have, and this is illustrating the gold price in the Weimar Republic during the periods of the hyperinflation. So 1914 to 1923, the price of gold is the black line. You can see gradually and then quickly. But what is very interesting on this chart is the red line. The red line is the percentage change in gold price. What I'm showing here is the price of assets in an inflationary environment goes up. The price of assets in a hyperinflationary environment go ballistic. The price of real money, such as gold and such as Bitcoin in a hyperinflationary environment, priced in fiat currency, go, this is not even parabolic. This is going from 100 to 1, is that 1 trillion? Somebody will correct me. Let's just say it's 1 trillion, 100 to 1 trillion in the space of, what was that, a year, 2 years? This is what happened to the price of gold in the Weimar Republic. And the red line is the monthly change. So what I'm showing here is even though the price is going up, so imagine this is Bitcoin in 2021 when we're heading into a hyperinflationary environment, the monthly change can be and will be extremely, extremely volatile. Huge swings to the upside, huge swings to the downside. Some of these swings are 80% in a month and then minus, what's that, 40% in a month. Month on month, huge swings in the price. So if this happened to gold, well, what is the asset this time around that is being that mirror of truth onto fiat currency? gold isn't really moving a great deal at the moment. That may change. Gold may start heading into this sort of price action in order to counterbalance money printing. But at the moment, the asset that's doing that is Bitcoin. And like I said, gold may join the party. I expect that to happen, but Bitcoin is leading the way. And that is absolutely why Elizabeth Warren and the IMF are so deeply concerned, because they're not able to get away with their antics. Bitcoin is showing what the truth is. And presidents of small countries have realized this and are waking up to the fact that they need to do something about it. This macro environment of us heading into a hyperinflation, of a monetary policy war about to break out, of Bitcoin already being the most volatile asset class that ever existed, of Bitcoin in the bull market of its 4-year cycle, of politicians and elites wanting to take away our freedom. Well, you need to be prepared for extreme bouts of volatility. We have just experienced a period of time that a lot of people struggled with. What I'm saying to you is this may just be the very beginning. And that's why it's very, very, in my opinion, important to understand what you're investing in and why. Because if that is Bitcoin, you're not just doing it to see the price of your Bitcoin go up in US dollars or pounds. And of course, that's really nice to see on the screen on the portfolio. But is it going to matter if the pound and the dollar and the euro collapse? Well, they won't exist anymore. So of course it won't matter. And sorry, my phone's ringing. So it will be far, far easier for you to cope with these swings in volatility if you understand that there is that this period of time is very, very important in human history. And if you don't understand that, what are you going to do if leaders around the world come out and say that owning Bitcoin is illegal? Because that's exactly what they did with gold in the 1930s. And from the estimates I read in the 1930s, 40% of people turned in their gold. So they gave up, they held up the white flag. And you have to have that possibility in mind when there are these huge forces in play. And of course, what happens when we, what happens if we crash down to $20,000 on the back of more and more fear mongering and misinformation, and more headlines from powerful people saying that Bitcoin is a scam. They rolled out Donald Trump as well a few days ago saying Bitcoin was a scam. So for those that do manage to hold on, of course, the rewards will be great in fiat terms, but the rewards will be greater in freedom terms. And it just may be very, very important if and when the currency collapses, because when the mark collapsed in the Weimar Republic, you did not want to be holding it. There was no point selling your gold when we were at $100,000, because a month later that $100,000 had been inflated to $10 million. Okay, so they're going to keep trying to shake you out along the way, and you need to keep coming back to the reasons why. Thank you. Thank you for listening and supporting. Bit of a deeper session, something to think about, but I think it's very, very important. And tomorrow we'll talk about Ethereum. Take care.